You ever wondered how the bullets from your gun precisely hits the target, or how this giant spider walks right above these rocks just like he can see his environment? The magical spell developers put in this kind of situation is Raycast. So what is a Raycast? It's a ray that gets sent out from a point in 3D or 2D space and moves in a specific direction. In Unity we use physics.raycast, which returns a boolean value. It's true if it hits something and false if it doesn't. With that said, let's dive into some implementation stuff. Alright, here in the project I have a capsule character holding a gun and trying to save his friends from this giant cube monster. What we're gonna do is we're going to implement a system so that capsule character only shoots to the cube monster and never puts a bullet inside one of his friends' head. Of course we're doing this using Raycast. So to do that, make a C# script and open it in Visual Studio. Delete the start function, we don't need that right now. While looking in the Unity documentation, you can see that physics.raycast takes 6 different parameters. Each one is perfectly described in here. So let's see them in action. For that, type physics.raycast and inside bracket we're giving our first parameter, which is the position where our ray should start. I'm typing transform.position here because I want the ray start from the same game object I'm gonna attach this script to. Next parameter is direction. I'm giving vector 3.forward here, which will go in the direction where the Z pointer is pointed. Okay, we have given the start point and the direction. Next we need a variable to store data if the ray hits something. So type out raycast hit, I'm calling it hitinfo. Next variable is how much distance the ray should travel. It's a float variable, I'm typing 20 here. There are 2 more parameters which we will be discussing later in this video. So now this will return a bool value. So I'm putting this in an if statement and typing hit something in debug, and in else I am typing hit nothing. Save that, get back to Unity and attach this script to the game object where our gun's barrel is pointed at, and hit play. I have a small character movement script in the capsule by the way. And of course I have added colliders to everyone, because Raycast need colliders to detect collisions. As you can see, when I hit play, the console says hit something when there is someone in front of the capsule and says hit nothing when there is no one in front. Cool. Now let's draw a ray so that we can see what's happening in the scene. For that, type debug.drawRay in the bracket, initial position, direction and length of the ray. I am calculating the distance traveled by ray by typing hitinfo.distance and multiplying it with direction. I am giving it red if the ray hits something and green if it doesn't. Save that, get back to Unity and click play. There you can see when the player is in front of any collider, then the ray color turns to red, and when it doesn't hit any collider, then ray color is green. We can customize which objects should the ray hit in the scene by putting them in a layer and applying a layer mask. For that, make a serializable field of type layer mask. I'm calling it layer mask and add this in the Raycast. Save that, make a new layer. I'm calling it cube monster and put this cube monster in that layer. Assign the layer in the script and hit play. Now the ray only turns red when it hit the monster. We have one more parameter left in Raycast, that is Cori trigger interaction. It's for deciding whether the ray should hit the is trigger enabled objects. It has 3 settings. We usually use it as use global, which means it uses the default settings. To find the default settings, go to edit, project settings. Under physics section you can see Cori hit triggers. 2 other settings are ignore and collide. Ignore will ignore every trigger enabled game objects, and collide will include all trigger game objects in its radar. For example, I am typing ignore here, and in the project when I enable is trigger, the ray is not turning red, and the moment I disable is trigger, it turns to red. Alright, in the script you can directly give initial position and direction to a ray object and pass this ray object to the Raycast. And also you can initialize hitinfo before the Raycast. Make sure you are making ray inside the update method. I made some particles to add an extra effect to the shooting of capsule character. Now the cube monster can spit green blood and die. That's it. There's your Raycast implementation in Unity. You can always download this project by supporting me on Patreon. And if you wanna join the Pixelbug community, then link to that will be in the description below. As always, like, comment, share and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in my next video.